The cat decided, I'm going to bother you now, because that's what I need to do. Alright, we're going to get into Pirate Software Twitch fraud allegations.
PirateSoftware has opened the door to fraud allegations after a leaked DM shows some controversial behavior regarding his mod, bit donations.
What is it? Are there federal laws in place that make it so he can't manipulate something on Twitch to break a record? Because it's a privately owned company. I mean, the only thing I can think of is he'd violate Twitch's terms of service. But as in the previous live stream I saw, the one lawyer said that it's possible that he quite literally didn't has something in his contract that says he can't get away with that. Huh. Well, I guess we'll see what the Mr. Lawyer here has to say, Mr. Andrew Esquire.
Hype trains, and we're going to get into that today on The Legal Mindset. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney in this Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge in a fast facts format, bringing you the quick and dirty version of the latest news. So PirateSoftware has been in the internet news over the past, 3, 4, 5, 6 months for various things that he has been doing. But now we have him actually getting caught in something where there could be real legal liability. Now, to be very clear, we are not addressing the drama today. So we're not going to talk about how he got his party killed in WoW and how he failed to even give a basic apology.
I love how he says we're not going to address these controversies, but then he proceeds to address them. I don't think some content creators understand the subtle nuances to if you say you're not going to talk about something, but then you still talk about it. Even I've done that.
Apology and say, hey, look, listen, this was really my fault. I could have done more here, not try to deflect it, not try to blame everybody equally, but just take responsibility and own up. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about any of the fig tree allegations and whatever he did with a ferret. That's between him and the ferret. We're also not talking about stop killing.
Big tree allegations? I haven't heard a darn thing about that.
Games, although we did talk about that on a previous episode, and you can tune back and catch.
Oh yeah, we're going to be seeing a video today with good old Adam Ross and his Stop Killing Games initiative because some new stuff's come out, and it's funny.
Catch my Stop Killing Games commentary. However, one thing we are going to talk about is this fall in subs, because a lot of this does have to do with the fact that PirateSoftware, due to all of these controversies, is hemorrhaging.
Remember, he said he wasn't going to talk about the drama, but he's talking about it still.
Subs. And when you are hemorrhaging subs, and I'll bring this up again at the end, this opens you up to a lot of potential problems from people that used to be supporters. So obviously, in the over 104,000 people as of date over the last just 30 days,
I wonder how many he's lost.
Losing over 104K followers. Amongst those certainly are some whales, some people that donated a lot to his channel and now feel really.
Oh, he's using the term whales. And then there's the term super whales. For those that aren't aware, the concept of the whale and the super whale are corporations' way of insulting consumers and calling them big spenders. People that will pour the most amount of money into something that you make. And it sucks to be labeled that, but that's what they do. And that just goes to show you. For those of you who think a company cares about you in any way, shape, or form, well, mainly a big corporation, they don't. But I know smaller businesses do care about their employees, but once you get too big, it's hard to care about every single one. Just how it goes with these oversized corporations.
Really hurt. We feel betrayed by PirateSoftware. And whenever you have that happen, not only are you going to have more people paying attention to your channel, more people looking for you to make mistakes, more people logging what you're doing, but you're also increasing potential liability, because one of those people, any of those people that donated a lot, that felt they gave a lot, might have claim or cause if you end up slipping up and they felt misled, and that might generate some sort of cause of action.
I don't really think I've never seen that happen except with people who donate on a video game for its development and the video game never comes out. Now, in PirateSoftware's defense, his game Heartbound has come out, and it wasn't until recently when people started targeting him about the game that he started doing updates for it. So, to put things in perspective, it's possible he could have scammed people with his game of the $20,000 that he raised for it. I believe it was about 1,000 less than what I'm saying, but it was pretty close to 20K. But the bottom line is, I think PirateSoftware is a con man. That's my opinion on it. I think he's a con man. I think he's conned people into believing that he's something he's not.
And that's something we might have here today. So let's get into it. What happened? So PirateSoftware, while live, accidentally showed a DM with his moderator. That DM shows that his mod was purchasing bits to extend Pirate's hype train. Now, that's a Twitch thing, and we're over here on YouTube. We only have hype.
So just to be clear, he did show a DM. He was wearing his banana suit during it, and then he panics really fast and closed the window, and then he proceeded to make a post about it, I believe, and then he deleted the VOD. But fortunately, thanks to our very capable internet nerds, a VOD was recovered. So there is the visual proof. He can't hide it. But the fact that he went as far as to delete the VOD tells you a lot.
Hype trains and you guys smashing the like button and commenting on the video.
I've never liked that smash the like button. Please don't break your mouse on your keyboards either. Don't do that. Don't smash the like button. You can subscribe and you can press like once, but let's not smash it and then break it.
Which is always appreciated. But that's a particular mechanism at Twitch, and PirateSoftware has actually been known for breaking that record repeatedly. In fact, only recently, I believe the VTuber Vidal, Neurosama over there, beat his record, but previously he'd been setting records as related to this hype train. So it's something.
Yeah, Twitch has a weird hype train system. You get people to donate money to you and it raises the hype train or something. I don't know how it works. I don't use Twitch a lot, but apparently that's how it works. And he did it with bits. He got to the max level 55. Twitch must have increased it because then he got to like level 100 plus, and another Twitch streamer got to like 111 and surpassed him. So yeah.
That, you know, as a channel, if you're setting records, you're
me.
typically pretty proud of that. Now, it appears his DM, the DM with his moderator, it appears his DM was purchasing bits to extend Pirate's hype train. Now, by and in and of itself, and we're going to see that with the terms of service, etc.
I think this is pretty harmless, but like I said, everyone's talking about Twitch terms of service. I want to be clear about this, and I will never change my opinion on this because it just can't be changed. Twitch and YouTube do not, companies in general, do not enforce their terms of service equally among everyone. They pick and choose where they want to enforce it. Let's not get that confused.
That probably wouldn't be a problem if the moderator was doing that on their moderator account, right? And the moderator was just as a moderator going and donating those bits. However, it was beyond just the moderator doing it. The moderator was donating them not with their main account, but with an alt account, which the mod made Pirate aware of, and which presented itself not as the mod, but as a friend of the mod, as a separate person who was not the mod, which is not true. We're going to see that right today. So I'm going to pull up the actual footage for this.
Me.
Of course, if you want to catch the full analysis, right, the full breakdown, you can always catch the full version on my live. So here is PirateSoftware, and this is the moment in which he was caught in 4K showing the DM. So here's him during gameplay.
One sec. I think I forgot to set this to repeat. There we go.
Place my head between them and go full burn mode and make. What?
Okay, so here's where he pulls it up, and this is the screenshot. We're gonna go into it. I'm gonna read it through, but here's the screenshot, and you can see how
quality's
quickly
pretty
he's
bad.
gonna click away from this. He's just gonna try to clear this out because obviously this does not look good for him.
So this is him pulling it up on stream here, and I'll just go ahead and let the rest of it play, as you guys will see that this is indeed PirateSoftware. You can see his messages between Kronos, the ones that we were just showing you, and then you're going to watch.
So you can see he's got it up here. He's going to click away, right? He clicks away pretty quickly, right, to get over here. And by the way, another thing, big credit to Quinn Theo. I'm going to tag his video in the video below for.
I'm curious. I couldn't find Quinn Theo's original video in his description. Let me see if he put it down there. No. No. Oh, nope. No, that's not it either. Nah, he didn't add it. Yeah, he didn't link it down here. Bad legal mindset. Not even a pinned comment. Very bad. But anyhow, let's continue.
For bringing this up and for making this presentation and kind of collecting this together. But in that screenshot, we have some pretty damning proof that he was talking with the moderator in order to engage in this behavior. So let's look at this.
And to be clear, as it was stated in Quinn's video that I watched, lawyer did say there's a possibility that PirateSoftware has in his contract with Twitch that he can do things like this. We don't know, but he might.
Here, I'm going to read through this for you guys so you get it. So PirateSoftware says, let me know if you do. Bits is going to be the best way to do it due to the return if you need to save it. So what he's talking about is, what is the most efficient way for you to buy these bits and then extend the hype train? And the return would imply that he's going to get money back, that he's going to get reimbursed. So that implies that as this moderator is donating, PirateSoftware is going to pay him back for what he gets. So it's going to be returned to him. So he's going to get, as PirateSoftware says, like an 82% return. See, T3s might be better, don't know. Bits is 82% return when you buy them in bulk. Have you bought it? He says, I've done 100 T1s on my personal, ready to do 40 T3s on my alt. Can do bits instead or both.
Sheesh, that moderator
bits
must be
20
loaded.
Seconds left. So saying he extended the hype train with 50K bits when there were 20 seconds.
Maybe the moderator is a whale or a super whale
Left. Okay, what is the alt? Serendipitous Bean. Remember that name, Serendipitous Bean. It's going to come up. Where's the beef? And then he goes on to say, didn't mention this to the mods either. Now the challenge is to clear the queue. The queue is referring to his kind of backup TTS queue, which he has to clear or it's donated to charity. But the more important thing is this Serendipitous Bean. And here's this profile here.
What is this? In real life, friend of Kronos. And excited that they are now free from corporate. Love your stream and what you do for people here. Oh, this is the alt account. That's his alt account. There aren't many cooler supporter streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool about it. Tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards. So it was Kronos on an alt, so I don't know why. I just don't understand, like, is it really a violation of Twitch policy to do that? I don't know. Inflated numbers. I mean, there's a group of people from Thextra who, in order to increase views on their live streams, actually feature the live streams on their active index sites for games. So no matter what, it's considered a view. So there's different ways to manipulate the counter.
Here and this information courtesy of Guy on Twitter. So thank you, Guy. This was the description here of Serendipitous Bean. IRL friend of Kronos. So Kronos is the main moderator and excited that they are free from corporate. Love your stream and what you do for the people here. There aren't many cooler supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards. So this person is clearly painting themselves as not Kronos, not the moderator, but a separate IRL friend of this moderator, which is extremely deceptive if you ask me. Now
I could see that being a crime, deceptive intent when dealing with a product. Like if you're intentionally deceiving your viewers on Twitch, that I could see as a legal liability. That would make more sense to me.
How does this convert to a legal issue? Well, there's 3 potential legal questions, and these were brought up also by Quintheo in his very good
Well, Twitch Terms of Service isn't going to sue anybody, so.
video, which once again, I'm going to link in the
And they don't enforce the TOS equally among anybody, so yeah.
Comment below. He brought up the first 2. I'm introducing a third one here. So the first one is Twitch Terms of Service. Then we have federal law violations and state law violations. So let's look at the Twitch Terms of Service. So obviously, Twitch has a terms of service. There's many things you can and cannot do, but one thing they have is called a bit acceptable use policy. So you're supposed to use bits in a certain way. You're supposed to...
Huh. All right. This is more details than what was shown in Quinn's video.
to behave like a normal contributor and not do certain impermissible things.
Ooh, excuse me.
Like, for example, you can't solicit bits in exchange for money or donations. That's one thing. You can't provide items or services that are associated with monetary value in exchange for bits. And a big thing here, and this is one that I think he has to really watch out for, is selling, offering to sell, trading, bartering, or transferring bits to other users in exchange for real or virtual currencies. So,
so as in paying back, Kronos violates that. But again, Twitch TOS not enforced equally.
if this mod is using these bits and transferring them to PirateSoftware, and PirateSoftware is converting that to cash and paying them back, that would appear to violate the TOS. Beyond that, you cannot use the bits to engage in any fraudulent, criminal, or otherwise unauthorized activity, soliciting or receiving bits for any fraudulent or any other criminal activity. That could be a problem because of the nature of what they did, because they engaged in a kind of fraud there where you were having a sock puppet account, a fake account, an alt account, right? That is donating these bits, pretending to be a friend instead of a mod. Now, understand that a mod can very well be perceived as an agent or an employee of the streamer. So if a mod goes out and does something on the streamer's behalf, they are an agent. And the streamer is what's called the principal. That's principal agent theory. And a principal can be liable for the actions of their agent. If you tell somebody to go out and do something, and certainly if you're compensating them or reimbursing them for that, they are your agent. So it's as if the streamer was doing this. So it's as if PirateSoftware was engaging in this. And in this case, it's doubly damning because he...
Okay, so this is the part Quinn had the talk with the lawyer and I think a Twitch moderator. I didn't see that part of the video, but his talk with the lawyer indicated that there's also the possibility that PirateSoftware, with his contract, can do this and not get in trouble for it. Some bigger Twitch streamers who are partnered up have special conditions in their contracts.
Shows he knows this. He was told this, and he didn't say, don't do that. He didn't say, well, that might be against TOS. He says, well, that's kind of shady. No, he's like, okay, great. He's like, okay, fine. In fact, he's strategizing on the best way to do this, which is, once again, not a very good look when we're coming to allegations of fraud. So let's continue here. We have federal, oh, no, sorry. Let me go back here. With the terms of service, some people allege, and this is more of a kind of niche allegation here, but some people do allege, and this is something that I believe one of the lawyers brought up for this, was that, well, this is something that there might be a separate contract for. So the lawyer that was talking to Quintheo
here we get to
said,
it.
hey, there might be a separate contract that might supersede that. Well, in a separate part of the Twitch terms of service, which I looked up, it actually says even in other agreements, even if there is a separate agreement, even if there's a supplement, you still have to follow these terms and you cannot violate them. And I'm very sure that a separate agreement would have incorporated that statement because it's intended to be applied to all separate agreements. So even if there was a separate private streamer agreement, even if PirateSoftware got a lawyer and negotiated a private agreement with Twitch, even if that happened, I doubt he's able to break those terms. And beyond that, he's not allowed to break the law. And what we get into next.
I mean, when you look at like big sports figures that for franchises, they like no trade clauses, and they like full guaranteed contracts. So, I mean, there are those special conditions, but I doubt this would apply.
Next, and the thing that's very spicy is potential violations of federal law and state law. So let's talk about federal law. Federal law is the Federal Deceptive Trade Practices Act, and that's something that is very, very well known by me. I covered that a lot.
But how often does the federal government actually enforce that? That's my question. Because we report to the FCC about things that are going on with certain people that are getting away with it with like Bitcoin. And they're scamming people like and I'm not going to name certain names because one of them is going on a suing spree and suing people, but there are people that do this that get away with it.
That was one of my kind of, I would say, specialties.
Like I was saying, even with laws, they're not enforced equally among everyone. It's all based on bias. It sucks. You want to live in a free country, you'd like it if they enforce things among everyone equally, but sadly they do not.
Realm, when I was corporate counsel, there are three separate elements. So you need a representation, omission, or practice that is likely to mislead a customer. So the practice would be, hey, donating bits from the sock puppet account. The consumer's interpretation is reasonable under the circumstances. So the consumer is thinking this is a private party. This is somebody else. This is not the mod. This is not PirateSoftware. They're thinking, oh, look, this person is extending the hype train. And so because of that misleading representation, that materially led others to donate more to keep it going. It's a very well-known thing in scams and cons. This is something that confidence men do. They get...
That's what I've been calling PirateSoftware. I've called him probably one of the biggest con men in the history of the internet. But that's my opinion. But I still think he's done an excellent job conning everybody into believing what he is. And he even had me. I mean, his shorts I thought were pretty good. I used to watch them a lot. And it turns out they're not all that accurate. I mean, some of them might be true. But come on. The guy has already shown the ego, and it's getting kind of obvious. He's a con man.
Fake buyers to go out there and gin up interest so that people will buy stuff even though it's overpriced. That is a very common fraudulent practice. So by not disclosing the fact that essentially your agent, your employee is going out here and doing that, that is misleading a reasonable viewer, a reasonable consumer. That's a possible interpretation of that. Once again, it's not for sure that he would be convicted of this, but this is opening up the door to these questions. Beyond that, there's state law. So Twitch is in California. Every state has their own Deceptive Practices Act. Florida has one, Georgia has one, New York. A lot of them follow what's called the UDTPA,
California only
which is
puts
the
away
Uniform
citizens.
Deceptive Trade Practices Act. But some of them also have
They don't
things
give a
that go further. And
crap
some of them have
about
criminal
illegals.
penalties, including California, which can hit you if you go cross certain lines. So Consumer Legal Remedies Act, California has that. And I mentioned California, by the way, because that's where Twitch is. So it would be very reasonable if a California donor, if a California whale brought a claim against a California corporation in a California court against, Twitch and against, Mr. PirateSoftware. So there's three things that really come up, and these are separate under the law. The Consumer Legal Remedies Act. Now, that's typically used to products, but there could be an argument that it would apply to services, particularly services that were fraudulent or misleading. But beyond that, there's California Business Code 17500, which leads to false or misleading statements or false or misleading advertisement. And this could be perceived as, hey, falsely advertising that you're number one on the hype train, that you're this hype train leader.
They always talk about the false advertisement. I can promise you right now, no state or federal government is ever going to enforce consumer laws, ever, because I've not seen it happen. There has been numerous illegal representation across the board within the United States, and I've never heard of any companies getting fined or prosecuted for it. So for it to happen, you would have to shock me. Shock and awe. And I've never seen it. Never.
Leader, that you're this person that needs to be donated to keep this thing going, to breach all these levels, when really most of those levels, or maybe a lot of those levels, some of those levels, were just artificially inflated by either PirateSoftware's mod or these sock puppet accounts. I mean, who knows? We don't really have a full track on that yet. And beyond that, there's the unfair competition law. And this one I think is pretty juicy, because this one would even allow other creators the potential to say, hey, this is unfair competition. You're allowing these people to inflate their numbers and get this hype train going on, get featured on the front page, get highlighted, get hyped up, by all of the platform and by the CEO himself, all this sort of good stuff. And that is unfair competition. That's giving them an unfair edge, because they're doing things that are violating the TOS freely. And hey, if you don't enforce this, Twitch, if you don't do anything, Twitch, this is a problem. Now, beyond that, there are other issues other than him losing subs. And of course, once again, him losing subs just adds the potential of people that might sue.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to be able to do a class action against him. I mean, can they sue him for a deceptive practice of making them believe that donating to the bits to help get up the hype train was not fraudulent, and that they were the ones who helped do it, but instead it was mainly because of his moderator Kronos? I don't know. Might be, but deceptive practices. But like I said, these are all small and subtly nuanced. Very rarely do you see people getting sued for that or in trouble for that. It's very minimal. So most people who are suing for bigger reasons, and they use that.
But beyond that, there's advertisers. Advertisers might feel like they were defrauded. They might feel angry because they're saying, hey, we're running ads and they're supposed to be on the top channels. But if he's falsely inflating his numbers and he's being falsely promoted, well, maybe.
Oh, other issues, advertiser anger. He's not wrong. That's potential. That's lost for Twitch because they're working with these streamers. But I mean, come on. There's advertisers with Hassan. There's advertisers with extreme leftist extremists that are on Twitch. Take my word for this, Legal Mindset. If the advertisers cared, they would have pulled out a long time ago. And I don't think they have, even for those creators.
We're not really getting the value we thought we were getting. We thought we were getting a value of someone who was number one in the hype trains, who was leading in this pack of hype trains. And we're not getting that value. And even if they don't have a claim, they might express their anger. They might pull out. They might refuse to advertise. Beyond that, this could open the flawed floodgates. If Twitch does not crack down on this, does not issue some punishment, some correction, well, others might say, well, I can do that too. And then...
Fun fact, again, his options here are very vague. The first two are super vague. If they gave a crap, they would have gone after other people who were doing the gambling stuff on Twitch, saying, oh my God, I'm getting this stuff. This is so crazy. There's even ads with these people and gacha games that are on Twitch where they're advertising for that game and they're doing the same thing. It's subtle nuances, and if Twitch was ever going to enforce it, it would be shocking. I know Twitch made changes to their TOS in terms of the gambling and the hot tub crap and certain streamers dressing within a certain amount of clothes, but if Twitch really cared, they would have done something a long time ago. Now, there was an incident, I think, a while back about the Twitch ad apocalypse. I don't know how that went over. I know a lot of advertisers pulled out because of some situation. I don't know what it was about, but I do know this. If Twitch cared, they wouldn't be what they are now. They would be less so. But, like I said, they don't enforce their TOS equally among everyone. They pick and choose who they're going to hit. And setting an example, if Twitch wanted to set an example, they would have set an example a long time ago, earlier in the game. But they didn't, because they became what every great what company that's doing good and then gets a lot of money, and then suddenly everything just falls apart. It's just what happens. The bigger the company, the less they care.
And then everybody is going and committing this deception, which would just open up Twitch as a really, really poor perceived platform where everyone is essentially artificially boosting their own numbers.
Really? Fextra does this. Fextra is well aware of this. They do it all the time. You can go to their actual index sites for games that they post content on, and their live streams are playing in there, like linked, and it gives them free views. There are manipulations. People are committing fraud all the time, violating the terms of service, inflating their numbers. Most of the big streamers are doing this in some form or another with something. But it's a nuance, because this is like saying, I'm posting on Twitch that I'm live streaming to get people to traffic it to my channel. Okay, but does that count as fraud? That's artificially boosting my numbers by getting other people to come on from a different website. Would the same apply? Like in my opinion, it's a nuance. It's a subtle nuance on what Twitch is going to enforce and what they're not going to. Because if they were going to enforce anything, they would have gone after Fextra. They would have gone after Hassan. They would have gone after other extreme leftists. They would have gone after the hot tub girls. They've gone after the skimpy clothing girls. They would have gone after people artificially inflating their numbers, people manipulating the system. Everyone tries to find a way to do it. I mean, it's just like, let me give you a good example. The New England Patriots, after 2007, when they had Spygate, because of Bill Belichick and his coaching staff, there was an old saying by Bill Walsh, I believe. He says, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And it's a subtle nuance, because even the best cheats somehow. But we don't know, because it's not public to everyone. It's always going some way. And there's subtle nuances. Like, here's a good example. In NFL football, other teams watch previous tape of other teams playing their games, so they can see what they're making for defensive and offensive play calls. And they're looking at the offensive defense, see what players are great, their numbers, and learning about it. A great example is Ray Lewis, who watches hours of film. And you got Tom Brady watching hours of film, Peyton Manning watching hours of film. I mean, John Elway used to carry trash bags home, or sacks, of VHS tapes of recordings of teams to watch the tape. Is that artificially inflating? Like, is that something you shouldn't be allowed to do? Like I said, it's what they're willing to allow. These are just examples, probably terrible examples, but I hope they get my point across. The point is, it's a nuance. Is Twitch going to do it? Probably not, because they don't care. They are only concerned with how much profit they're raking in and what their revenue stream is going to be. That's it. That's the point that they've reached. They no longer are interested in just building a platform for everyone. It's a platform for, give us money now. We want all the money. It's not enough to just have some of the money, a little bit of the money, maybe some more of the money. No, we want all the money.
Which once again goes towards Twitch's impotent image. Twitch is something that Twitch's a platform that I've talked about a lot, because they failed to enforce their own rules evenly, fairly, and justly. And if you have terms of service and you never enforce them, well, that's not a good look for your platform as a whole. And that's why other platforms are rising. Even platforms like Kick are passing Twitch in many metrics, because of their poor image. And other platforms like YouTube look at that and say, hey, we're going to stay away from those sort of images, that sort of image, and enforce our rules. So this is a really bad look for Twitch. It does not look good for PirateSoftware and is likely to continue his downward slide. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next.
Are you guys enjoying the stream?
What the heck? Oh, it's this dude who's currently in Korea right now facing criminal charges. And he's constantly bragging, I'm an American citizen. I can go to any country I want and be a nuisance and get away with it. Yup, because I'm me and no one's ever going to punish me for it. It's just one of those things.
Hey there everyone, if you enjoy this content, like and subscribe and comment down below. Thanks again.